It's a big night for the country's filmmakers. The winners of the 48-hour film competition will be announced. One of this year's judges happens to be Elijah Wood, who of course is famous for his role as Frodo in Lord of the Rings. So I got in touch with our favourite Hobbit and asked why he got involved.
I'm friends with Ant Timpson, who I believe actually created the festival. I met Ant at a festival here in Austin, Texas, actually, called Fantastic Fest. So I've known him for a few years. And he'd mentioned the 48-hour film festival to me before, and it kind of just worked out this year in terms of just having enough time to be a guest judge, which I was just happy to do.
What do you think of this whole 48-hour concept?
It's total trial by fire. It's a wonder that any of them actually get made. And you know, I think having and truly understanding that and then watching the films, what's even more remarkable is the level of quality that some of these people are able to come up with in such a short amount of time.
Did any of the movies stand out to you?
There were a couple of single-shot films that I was very impressed with, that made very good use. I mean, you know, obviously it's a fantastic gimmick, and it can be quite clever, but it was used in both of the films that it was used in. It was used as a great storytelling tool.
Vampires seem to be the it thing for movies, the blockbusters anyway. What have you noticed in the way of themes from the Kiwis?
Zombies. There were a couple of zombie films. I feel like zombies have come back into our culture, and they don't really seem to be going anywhere. Like the living dead themselves, it seems as if zombies are here to stay.
Well, another one of it is being released soon. What does that mean for you? You're coming to New Zealand?
You know, the first movie comes out in December. I have a tiny little part reprising my role as Frodo in that. But the beautiful thing this time around is I have a completely objective perspective. I really get to go to both of those films as a fan, having not spent the year and change working on them. So I'm really looking forward to that. You know, it was kind of extraordinary going back to New Zealand and working with the team again, because so many people who had worked on Rings are working on The Hobbit. It really felt like a family reunion.
It sounds like you're still quite the Kiwi fan.
Oh yeah, I mean it feels like a second home, particularly Wellington. You know, I was based in Wellington. That's where the production is based. A lot of my friends live there and work there. It does feel like home. There's this very strong connection to your country. I love returning. It's always a place that I don't want to go for a short visit. I want to go for at least a month so I can just sort of enjoy being in the country for a while.
We spoke to James Cameron recently on the show, and he's already brought property here in New Zealand. What about you? Will you be next?
I'm surprised I haven't done it yet. You know, when we were finished with Rings, a lot of the actors talked about getting property there. You know, I talked about trying to get residency, to eventually get citizenship. You know, it really did feel like home, and it does feel like home. But life, you know, takes paths, and I just haven't managed to get a place there yet. But I still think about it every time I visit. I'd love to get a place in Wellington. You know, so many people who came out to work on Rings from the States have now moved there, have gotten married, have children. You know, your country has, it's infectious, you know, and people fall in love with it when they visit, and clearly James Cameron is the next to fall for your wiles.
Oh, such a nice guy.
He seemed like a really cool guy.